some of the rewards you could get on the first day of these raids here. So now check this out. Just keep coming through. So if that doesn't tell you on getting into a good guild, I don't know what does. But that was a ton of rewards. That was actually kind of funny. Hey guys, this is Go Kyrie here with another Guardian Tales video, and in today's video we're going to talk about the new raid here. So Altar of the Colossus just dropped, and I want to talk about the meta teams. I want to talk about each encounter and just kind of show, hopefully you can apply this to your roster based on maybe you have a couple of these teams, maybe you have like one, whatever, and just apply this to your roster. So hopefully you could do a lot more damage here in the raids. And so before we get into this video, if we could get a like on the video, that'd be awesome. Also subscribe to the channel if you want more Guardian Tales content. So with that out of the way, let's get into the raid here. You know, obviously in the beginning day, you're going to get way more than you are in the end. But then the rest of it, when it comes to that, is going to be these gems here you get, you know, after the 10 days, 11 days of actually raiding, and you get a ton of these battle medals here, which I think are a great resource. Try to get as many of these as possible is awesome. So, you know, even if you're in, like, let's go to reward list, you know, let's say top, I think being in a top 100 guild, or maybe even like, let's say top, 300, that's still a ton. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, even if you're just in the top 3,000, even, that's still a lot of rewards that you could be getting, especially, hammers, experience, gold. It's definitely something you don't want to leave on the table here, whether you get one team. I think a lot of guilds, in the lower ranks, all you need is one good team. You don't need much to really contribute here in the raids. So, and then ideally, as time goes on, you're going to get 3 and you're going to be able to really push it and hopefully, jump up as, jump up into higher rates. So, I went from, I want to say almost like 0 stamina, got a whole like 133 right there. I think you guys get the point that there's actually a lot of good rewards here. It's just periodical. It's not like a daily or weekly thing. It's like a bi-weekly thing. So let's talk about the bosses here. The first boss that I think we should talk about is Harvester. This is going to be the tough one. That a lot of these raids, they have 3 bosses that are relatively easy, and then one that's tough. And then this is the one that a lot of people get stuck on, and this is what really slows down progress. So having a good team for Harvester is going to be very important, and you want to have a lot of them. Like I used to do a lot of raiding in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and how they would do it is they would, based on the phases, they would require people to have teams ready for it. Like in Heroic Sith, it would be like you needed to have Night Sisters, or you needed to have like a resistance team for phase 1. And if you didn't have those things, then guilds didn't want to pick you up because you wouldn't be able to clear certain parts, and then the other members would be stuck, holding the bag on that, and then you're contributing in the part that's easy. Like maybe like phase 2 or whatever. So in this guild, if you could contribute, that's awesome. But the thing that really matters is being able to contribute in Harvester here. And because where everyone's just gonna be waiting for Harvester to be completed if you can't beat this. And sometimes he's harder than others. This time he's fire, and last time I believe he was light. So depending on his typing, he could be either harder or easier, depending. In this time, I want to say he's going to be easier because he's fire here. So you could take, having a water team, I think is a lot more accessible. I think a lot of people went for Garum, and his, side members on the team are, a lot of times only natural 2 stars. So I think this time, even though he's still frustrating, it's not going to be as frustrating as he is normally. After 50%, he becomes actually kind of like relatively easy, I should say. Whereas before 50%, that's when he's really annoying. So you're not going to really be able to see the annoying parts where he's flying all over the place. But because he's going to be consistently doing this little like beam attack that spins below 50%. So I won't be able to show just how bad he is unless someone hits him. Well, unless someone hits all 3 of these and then resets them. So maybe that will be for another video. And before we get into any matches here, actually, let me move over here. So before you get any matches, let's talk about some of the best teams for each encounter. And then there's obviously more than this, and you don't have to stick by exactly this. These are going to be like the meta teams, and then just there's a reason why these are the meta based on like chain skills and the typing and stuff like that. But then based on your roster, you could maybe tweak them a little bit, and I'll give some suggestions on potential tweaks here in the matchups that I'm actually familiar with. Okay, so for Harvester, last time that Harvester came through, he was light, so people are using the essentially this team right here. They're using this the basic team right here. Tinia is usually splashed into this team to make this work. Very good team for raiding. Probably a lot of people have these characters. I know Nari is a very popular character. I think a lot of people went for Future Knight, you know, when she came out. So popular team, like this is what people used back then. And I still think this would be fine, but this time, since he's fire, this team is going to be significantly better for handling the harvester. And a couple things to keep in mind here, since these are a lot of different typings. I would need to test this, but I'm assuming you're going to want to actually change the weapons to all water, because for a lot of times unless they don't have this party skill, like, so he's doing plus water attack. So you probably want to take advantage of that, because not only are you getting the 50% extra water attack, you're also getting the type advantage against the boss. So as much as it hurts to drop this weapon, this is probably what I'm going to try is Marauder. And also for this, for MK99, I would probably switch it to like Rachel's weapon here. It's a very common thing to do with Elvira. So I could totally see this being better than the typical. And then obviously you're going to keep her in her standard weapon here, which is awesome that she gets to keep her thing, even though she's a character that you could totally switch her weapons around and it's totally fine. People were asking why I had Helios on her last time. It was because I was taking her against the fairy. Fairy was earth, fire weapon, boom, like the same logic there when it came to facing a boss, but this time she actually gets to keep her weapon because she's water. And then if you look at her actual weapon skill here, the special one, it's really not that big of a deal. Inflicts 150% DPS damage on enemies and restores nearby allies HP by 50%. So kind of nice, but not necessary. The type advantage usually gives you more DPS. So that'll be this team for Harvester. You can switch her out with Nari. Me personally, I'm not going to be doing that because I actually kind of need to figure out what I want to do for this boss, because I'm going to be using Lilith in the training room, so I won't really have her ready. Maybe I'll just invest in her and like make her 4-star, and I'm not going to hit as hard on this boss, but I'll have to think about that on what I'm going to do. But because Nari I'm going to be using on the basic team, it's just kind of, I'm in a tough situation where I'm probably going to have to do 4-star MK99 for this and see. I'm kind of curious on how big the damage difference is going to be, but I don't think it's going to be insane. Ideally I would have her because she's just such a good character, but I haven't really been farming Evo stones recently. That's going to be the team for Harvester. This team is going to be, I believe, for Ghast. Yeah, light team, Ghast. You're going to use the basic team for Ghast here. This is just a really solid team. Works out really well. Their team kind of gets pieced out in this one because she's going to go over here. There's really no good encounters for Earth teams unless, I believe, under 50%. You could use Bari, like an Earth team for this this person here. And then there also is an Earth team you could use for Minotaur. Just, no. Yeah, Earth team for Minotaur, yeah, because he's Earth, and a lot of fire teams are usually not great, so sometimes just having a non-affinity disadvantage is going to do more damage than actually getting a dedicated fire team. So you could use your dedicated Earth team here if you have it, and you're not wanting to take out Tinia for someone like Ghast here in the basic team. You could totally do that. The Earth team is totally viable for Minotaur. I think that's probably going to be the best place to take them. And then you could also, under 50%, use Bari Lead for Harvester. I think that will also do well for you, because if you don't, if it's not under 50%, you're never going to get a chain skill going. Whereas when under 50%, the Harvester is very predictable, so you'll be able to actually hit all of Bari's weapon skill. Then lastly, we got the Ancient Demon. This is going to be the Dark team. So we got the Dark team right here. So Lilith is going to take that place. I'm going to put her in the training room, and this is going to be the team I use for Ancient Demon. And I think this is pretty much the main team. I can't think of any other good alternatives, but I'm sure they're out there. You could probably take a whole bunch of teams for this, but Ancient Demon's actually kind of scary because, you know, when he starts to pop off and throwing all this stuff, you really got to have a pretty good lockdown on them to actually be able to, you know, not die in that moment. So I think this is going to be the team I'm going to be using there. And lastly, for the dedicated fire team, if you're not using an Earth team, is going to be this team here. And we got Akiyuki Lead, and then you have, some people have Piltvice leveled up. If you have her ready to go, you could totally use her. Lynn would also be on this team. This is going to be ideal. And then lastly, Lilith is going to be the best fourth on here when it comes to a potential fourth that's not Lilith. I don't have much experience with this because I don't really use this team. This is just what I see here, and it makes perfect sense why this would be such a strong team. I think Lilith is going to be really good for being splashed in melee teams because she has the melee attack percentage, and also she decreases defense, and it's not like type specific. So I think she's going to be used in a whole bunch of our teams. If I was going to use this team, I'd probably switch her weapon to a fire claw. It doesn't necessarily need to be volcanic horn, but you know, if you have it, by all means use it. And that's going to be it for the teams here. Now let's actually get into some matchups, and you can kind of get an idea of how these how this encounter works. Okay, so here we go. I moved gear around, and this is what, just really quickly, this is what I'm using. We got this right here. Actually, I think I have a better one specifically for water. Give me this guy. Not as much weapon regen speed, but you know, whatever. So here's that, and then we got water everything, water merch, water weapon, and then sharpshooter. And then I like to keep this on her because she gets extra damage based on weapon regen speed, and it also gives, you know, good attack, stuff like that. All attack cards. And then lastly, we got her in the sharpshooter with Rachel's weapon. And then this, ideally this would be a water boost merch, but I don't have a fourth one. Actually, if I really want to min-max this, what I would do is I would actually switch that out, and because MK is going to do way more damage, so I might as well optimize the damage. The reason why I like these ones more is because when you already have a plus skill damage, so if you already have skill attack up on your team, you don't want to use the real cards, because I believe, you know, don't quote me on this, but what I believe it is the diminishing returns, or it's multiplicative benefits when you take advantage of different tiers of damage. So this is skill attack. If you you're getting an additive bonus of skill attack here plus skill attack there. Whereas if you're getting a skill attack bonus and then you're getting an elemental bonus, it's multiplicative. I believe that's the benefit there. And I don't know if skill attack goes over 100%. Like if it could just keep stacking, I believe it can. But because it's an additive bonus versus a multiplicative bonus, that's why it's not as good. And this is what I've heard from like a Korean thing, and then people translated it. So that's why I choose this, and just anecdotally from my testing, I've noticed better damage going by that concept. And then here, let's actually hit this. I haven't played against Harvester since last time Harvester came through, so you know, I'm rusty here, and also haven't tried with MK99. But here's the thing I was talking about, where he does this. Probably doesn't matter too much because it's this. I should just stay near Veronica and get the benefits. Oh jeez. Yeah, so it's just, we're just gonna kill it. But this is definitely going to be the team to use for it. You can also replace Nari in here as well. It's just gonna be tough to actually get a good test in when I'm stuck with only 2 mil damage. But let's move on to the next one here. We'll go to the other boss. We'll go to gas. Real quick. Gassed. And then getting good at swapping these. Ideally, we would have enough attack cards. Like, I don't understand why we only have a limited amount. Why don't they just let us have unlimited attack cards? You know what I mean? Like, there's only so, if they're willing to give us enough to fill out a full team, why don't they just give us unlimited amount once you actually get it unlocked? You know, like, it's just kind of annoying. You have to go in here and change all the cards and change all the merch. Like, I understand the merch part, but I don't understand the card part. It's just so tedious. Okay, we're mainly gonna, I have 3 maximum broken sharpshooters, so that's why I just switch them. It's kind of easier for me that way, where I have them all there. I'm not going to switch this. I'm just going to keep her in earth. But I would need to test it to see if she does better damage as basic versus earth. Like, in my mind, she absolutely should do more damage with a basic bow. I just don't see how she couldn't. So I'd probably use, there might be a better one, but this is basic. Yeah, so I would just use this. Yeah, That's the only thing I can think of. Okay. Then that would mean you change this. Ideally, since there's no skill attack in this one, probably everyone should be in Mayriel cushions. Actually. So, should be here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I'm going to put the main person here. Put her in my higher attack cushion. And then I will put her in just a normal cushion. Hopefully I have 4. I thought I got 4. I'm not sure though. And 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure. Maybe I only got 3. And then for her, like usually my support character, I don't really care too much. You know, so we got Nari here, we got Tinia there, and then if I'm just missing it, maybe I only got 3. So yeah, and then I'll just keep her in, obviously her typing there. I don't know about you guys, but I think Future Knight is really fun to play. I just think she has a really good feel where, as a range character, I like having this skill move here where she could block a move, and then her weapon skill just feels satisfying. I think what you can do is you put it here, and then I need to see how to actually do the counter to where I believe you could get him to just not move. Okay. I believe we could do a little bit better with that. I would have to get the optimal placement for him. I believe you could kind of glitch him into a place and then you could just go off on him. Also, you definitely want to be, every time he's going to poke you, you're going to want to shield up. The last thing you want to happen is having your weapon skill interrupted, as I should say. That's a big deal. Don't let that happen. Because as you can see, the weapon skill, it recharges very slowly in that encounter. You need to hit 4 moves to be able to do it. Luckily for Future Knight, she has a very low cooldown on that, but at the same time, if you get interrupted, that's going to really set you back on being able to start the chain going. And then I think potentially what you could do is you could stagger it, like if you're familiar with the fairy encounter, where you could block him when he was about to throw the thing. You could block him with another chain if you let him use his move and block him. So I'll definitely talk more on the specifics of each encounter in a later video where I can figure out each specific encounter and get the optimal way to play it. But this is more of just a showcase on how each team works. And so then this one here, for this encounter, what I'm going to do, so let's actually hit the harvester. I'm going to finish this. Oh, I don't have my bet, since I don't have Lilith ready to go. Well, what I want to do, since this person's dead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this boss here. Help out. Let's actually contribute. So let's actually do it in tipped here, and then I'm going to take MK99 out of the training room, and let's see how much damage we can get on a level 73 boss. Oh, I think I hit it like halfway. Okay, so I didn't have to min-max that at all, but yeah, I want to say you need a certain amount of weapon rigid speed to force him there and not let him run away, because that's a big DPS drop. Okay, And then now let's actually, I think this will be fun. Let's see how much damage we could actually do. Okay, so now got the team ready. Let's go. I did mostly melee cushions and then one elemental boost. Ideally, you know, these would be limit broken, but I'm saving all my resources so once I get her up, I could just max limit break Lilith, and then eventually I'll get the other ones up. Okay, so this will be the last, you know, thing on this video. I don't really have a good fire team, so I can't really showcase the last one, but at least show the team that people are going to be using if you want to use that. Cool. This is literally rough that he gets away from doing that. We choose her so it's in down state. Oh no. We're totally doing this again. I interrupted at the end there. I want to see how much damage I could actually do. We got 9.5. I think we could do better. I think we can do better. Spamming that move as much as possible because it actually reduces the defense and you get healing if you proc it with your weapon skill. Proc the seal here. Or with your chain skill, I believe. Like that should be healing. Yeah, see, we saw that. And we'll last a little bit. Got that. We got the weapon skill with that. Okay, so, you know, the getting interrupted, see, maybe that shows just how important it is not to get interrupted. That one interrupt cost me 1,000,000 damage. So maybe that puts it in context just how big of a deal it is. So, you know, really playing these fights well is probably the best way to actually get a damage boost here in this game. You know, obviously limit broken characters in the middle here and on the end would be awesome too, but still, I think that's very respectable damage based on the amount of resources put into this team. Be sure to join a guild, like join the official Discord server. There's a whole bunch of ways to join guilds there. You could try to join a legend. We have a whole bunch of different guilds based on how big your roster is or how advanced you are into the game, and we could slot you in the right place. So be sure to join that as well. And with that, guys, I'm out. Peace.